Well, hello, y'all. Happy Wednesday. Think I am live. The equipment is saying I am live. How y'all doing on this Wednesday? It is the last Wednesday. Is it? Yeah, because the next one, yeah, it is the last Wednesday of October. Hello, hello, hello. This is Powerful and Mindful Living with Coach Renee. And if you don't know me and know what this is about, this is a weekly live for you to talk about all things related to personal and professional development. I am a lifestyle strategist. I'm a licensed mental health clinician. I'm an international speaker, and I help exhausted, well, actually, professional women, ambitious women, those go getters that are burned out, feeling exhausted, and maybe having some confusion, just feeling stuck. And what we do at Empowered by Courage is we help you get some clarity on your next steps, clarity on what your purpose is. So it's aligned with what your passions is. And then ultimately, you will have that balance that you desire, right? Boundless energy. And we do this all with the Empower Framework Mastermind Program. Now, this week, I promise y'all that we're going to be talking about a four-letter word, the F word, four-letter word. Get your mind out the gutter. It's another one. It's a dirty word too. It's a dirty word. And it can really impact your life. And the word I'm talking about today is fear. Fear, fear. What is fear? Well, fear is something that the body is telling you that I am in danger, I am not safe, something is wrong here, and I am threatened. Now, we are equipped with fear, right? We need that. We need our fear meter because it keeps us from driving our car off the cliff. Because if you do that, you know what will happen, right? Or running into a burning building unless you're a firefighter or something. We need fear. Or if there was a bear, right? If there was a bear, we need fear, right? Because then our responses, our fight flight response would kick in, right? We would either run from the bear most of the time, or depending on what type of bear, I think it's the brown bear that you need to stay still, or you would freeze, act like you dead. So that's another response. Or we're gonna fight, right? So it's the fight, flight, freeze response. But fear, like I said, we need it, right? But when what gets tricky here is oftentimes we activate that fear button. It ain't no bear. We don't need to fight no bear. We don't need to run from a bear. No, we don't need to stay still from a bear. But our mind gets so active with imagination, with creating stories and scenarios and full of doubt, like these doom gloom outcomes that could possibly happen if I do this, if I try this, if I go there. All of these, but what if? I like to play this what if game with my clients, right? Well, you know, they have this worry or this concern. Because fear is also embedded in anxiety and worry, right? Worry is about a fear of a future outcome. It's imaginary. It's out there. Hasn't happened, but it's in your brain and it feels real because your body will respond to it. Your heart rate go, and also other stuff is going on in your body, right? Adrenaline is going on in your body. Cortisol is going on in your body. All that stuff over time is damaging to your body. So keep that in mind. Chronic stress and fear and worry and all that. That's like just giving yourself little daily doses of poison. Really, daily doses of poison. So, fear. What is fear? An acronym. I don't know if you've heard about this acronym. It's called false evidence appearing real. It's not real. It's in your head. Imagination. Now, imagination can be really good when it works for you, but oftentimes we'll allow our imagination to work against us, which will cripple us for cripple us avoiding opportunities, cripple us from speaking up, cripple us from taking that first step. So, how does fear show up in your life? Again, it can show up, not speaking up for yourself. It can show up, and that can be in a home environment or a work environment. It can also show up of not um, taking advantage of an opportunity because you think you might not do it right or perfect. We can self sabotage ourselves because we're so scared of not getting it wrong. And here, this whole thing about failure, because oftentimes there's like what is the fear of success or the fear of failure, right? And it's just like almost insane to have a fear of success. But this fear of failure notion is also insane. Now, if you're a perfectionist, there may really be a tendency and a aversion to want to fail like that. Like, no, we don't, nobody fails. Nobody fails. We ain't failing around here. But guess what? That is the way you're looking at it, like it's a bad thing. Oftentimes we will associate a failure um, as something's wrong. We will associate it as there are some inadequacies about us. But failures or setbacks or all those things, those are simply lessons. It's information. It's a beta test. You get to take that information and carry it forward, right? Because life keeps going, right? So nothing that happens is like in vain. It is all applicable. It's all relevant. It's just like when you consider it, if the scientists, they had to do several different tests over and over and over to get a certain cure or get a certain whatever that they're looking for, right? But through trial and error. I'm sure you guys maybe are familiar with some of the, I don't know exactly the word for word, but it's something that, I don't know if it was Michael Jordan that said it or Kobe or whatever, or even maybe somebody just made a point about it. Like they were great, right? But they shot the ball a lot. So there were several misses too. Several misses. But you miss every shot you don't take. So, and another thing about fear is our language, like what we say, how we say. We could speak life. We could speak life into our our life, speak life into our life, or we can speak death into our life in a sense. We can say, well, I don't know if I can do that. I don't think I can do that. Well, that vibrational thought that you made was also an assertion of what you think that can happen. When you say you can't do it or it's impossible, then that is what it is. I invite you to consider switching your language to say things such as, I'm not sure how to do it, but I'm going to look for a solution. Like I know there's a solution to this. I know there's an answer. I'm going to seek how I can get this information, right? Or how I can get this resource, or how it's like, are you going to be a problem solver? Or are you just going to be like, it's just, right? So our limitations just live in our head. We have limited living lives. Limited living lives. Is your life limited? Are you limiting yourself? Are you in your own self way? I know all about being in my own self way. Yeah. And when you finally like, you know what? When the light bulb comes on, realize I have been causing my own barriers or setbacks. It's your thinking, your mindset, your beliefs. And beliefs aren't facts, right? They're yours. They're yours. They're yours. But oftentimes our beliefs, yes, our beliefs are shaped by others, our families, our friends, the media, different things shapes, our beliefs. And we do, at the end of the day, get to choose what beliefs serve us. Like I was talking to a client earlier, and she was sharing about a belief that she had um, from growing up from her family, and we had got to a point where she really said, you know what, that me operating with that belief, that's not really helping me right now. I think I'm going to release that. We get to do that. We get to do that. So I told you I was going to give you 10. I got on a soapbox. I want to give you 10 steps, 10 ways to overcome, deal with, face fear. Because guess what? We all have it. It's gonna come up from time to time. But there's ways of managing it, right? First of all, you got to remind yourself it's not a bear. There's no bear. There's no bear. And you don't have to fight, flight, or freeze, right? Um, but one of the first things is to when you recognizing that there is something going on, that you're feeling something going on with you, or you're faced with something, first just kind of like ground yourself. It's like we cannot think clearly or make a decision if if we're activated, number one. So not just regrounding yourself, like slow it down. The heightened state that you're at, it's time to slow it down, right? Wherever you're at with that. And my favorite strategy to do that is deep breathing. Oh, deep breathing. I'm telling you, man, if I would have known how to deep breathe, it is so funny. If I would have known how to deep breathe in, wow, in my 20s, even in my 30s, oh my goodness, it would have prevented a lot of angst and overwhelmed and maybe arguments and all types of stuff that I got myself into just because I was not able to, reset and calm myself down emotionally, right? I used to do this puffed up, like incredible Hulk breathing. And that is totally different from deep breathing. Because when you deep breathe, it's like the heightened state. You can't stay in a heightened state and deep breathe at the same time. So always remember that. If you ever feeling like you just want to, so let me go to my breath. Let me just focus. Focus on my breath. It is your control, alternate, delete. So first of all, like calm yourself down, ground yourself, and then think about it. Like identify, what is this fear? What am I really afraid of? What is the outcome that I am afraid of happening? Oftentimes we need to fact check, like how probable, right? Is that happening, right? But just get clear about what it is that you are actually afraid of. Get honest with yourself. What's going on? Get honest with yourself. Um, Also know that sometimes fear can work with you, because when you push through your fear and do something, that is like a feeling that no one can take from you, because guess what you did? When you push through a fear and you just do it, even in the face of it being a little scary, like, oh my God, I don't know what's on the other side of this, but I'm going to do this anyway. What you are left with is courage. Your courage. It's one of the biggest virtue that you need. You can't do any all the other ones if you don't practice courage. Maya Angelou said that. So push, 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 push. Because yes, there's risks and there's benefits, but you can't often get to the benefits without leaning into some of the risks. What are some of the risks? Sure, you might fail, but is that really a risk? If you really think about it, it's not any risks. Nothing is a risk unless you driving off the cliff. Now that's a risk. You know what I'm saying. But as it relates to things um, of personal advancement, those things aren't risk. Anything that you try is not a risk. If you have a plan, if you're strategic and have a plan. Now, I'm not saying just run out and not think about things, right? You have to have a plan. You have to be, intentional, but it's not a risk because there's always some lessons there, right? Another thing is really to think about, like, just kind of sitting with the fear, right? Like, what is it that I am, like, what does this mean? Can I just sit with it? Like, what are the possible outcomes, right? And then again, what are the possible outcomes if it works out? Like, because oftentimes we're like, well, what if it doesn't work out? Well, what if it does work out? Then what? How would that make you feel? What if it does work out? And even if it doesn't work out in that timing, what else can you take from that to do a do-over? Because here's the thing about our choices that we have. Pardon me. Even when we fail, we have a choice of when we try again. Those are some things that we have choices in. Excuse me, take a little sip of my beet juice. Shout out to Press. So even in that, there's victory, right? There's value in that, right? But when you think about these things that you want to do that you may have some fear in it, like, what is the goal? Is it a meaningful goal? Because sometimes if it's just not meaningful, then maybe that's your reason. If it's not really your desire, then maybe that there's a lack of clarity. Then sometimes that can have one be a little apprehensive of making a move. But if you're kind of clear, then don't you owe it to yourself? Don't you owe it to yourself? I was talking earlier today, like, to another client. Don't you owe it to? We were talking about our dash. We're here. We're here for we have an arrival date and we have an expiration date, and we often don't know when our expiration date, right? But in between those two markers is your dash. Right? Is your dash. What are you going to do with your dash? What are you going to do with your dash? All right. So make your goals, like, them meaningful. Make them a must. I must do this. This is in my belly. I must do this. What is a must goal for you? Is it getting healthy? Is it building that business? What is it for you? It's going back to school. What is your must? And your why? Why is it important? What makes it important for you? Not for anybody else. Like, is this a thing because you're doing it for somebody else, or it's a pressure that somebody else wants you to do this, or is this your must? The next is recognize your excuses. Oh, we're so full of excuses. Excuses, excuses, excuses. Excuses, excuses, excuses. Ooh, we be full of them. Again, we are our own worst enemies oftentimes. Because first of all, you're faced with your own chatter in your head, right? We often have like 70 to 90,000 thoughts a day. Ooh, that's a lot of thoughts. A lot of thoughts. And most of those thoughts are repetitive. So we're just regurgitating a lot of stuff anyway. And also, just to give you a tidbit, just so that you don't feel like I'm just a negative person, we are also kind of wired a sense to be negative in a sense. And that's part of that fearful wire to keep us safe, make sure, oh, can't, don't know if that's safe, don't need to, So again, there's this automatic wiring that we already have, right? But know that the thoughts that you say to yourself, the stories that you say to yourselves, those are the stories that you're talking to yourself. You are saying it. Now you might even be hearing somebody else's voice, but you're playing the record. So stop the record. Stop the record. Flip it to side B. It's like, what is a side B? I'm like aging myself. Y'all know what a side B is, right? I'm not talking to the people that don't know what the side B is. Flip it to the side B, right? And focus and refocus on something else, something that's empowering, something that feels good, something that, that's invigorating, joyous, fun, grateful. You get to change the record. You get to change the frequency in the radio station. It's your head, it's your brain, right? So recognize, but be clear with yourself. Like, what are your excuses? Are you saying is, I don't have enough time to do whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop? Well, I don't have enough time to work out. There's 1,440 minutes in a day. That's all I'm going to say. It's 1,000, I'll say it again, 1,440 minutes in a day. Now, typically they said a person just needs to work out 30 minutes, be active 20, 30 minutes a day, right? I said that there was 1,440 minutes. Now, yeah, we got to sleep some of those. And yes, we do have to work some of those. And there's other things in between those two. But if taking care of your body is important to you, then we make time for things that is important to us. So is it the real excuse? Do you really feel like it's important or not? So if you're like, yeah, I do. Well, can your actions be in alignment with your beliefs? Because our values and actions get played out, our beliefs and values get played out in action. So you say, this is a belief of mine. It's important. I want to be healthy. Okay. Where's the action? Where's the proof? This is a belief of mine that I want to be wealthy. Okay. What are the action steps are you doing? Are you building your business? Are you saving money? Are you investing? What are you doing, right? So recognize your excuses. Are you really be, do, have what you say you want to be, do, have? Okay. Oh, I love this one. And I really, 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 really take this one to heart. Surround yourself with success. This is how you conquer fears. It's around you. If you're around other powerful people, you're around other people that have a growth mindset and a we can mindset, then that also is like my mom. I touch, rest in peace, mama. Bless her heart. She used to tell me when I was a teenager, I remember as a teenager in middle school and early, I don't know, maybe 7th grade. She didn't care for some of my friends or whatever. And, oftentimes parents they don't care sometimes for some of our friends. And I remember that she used to say, association makes assimilation. Association makes assimilation. And I never forgot that. Because yes, it is true. Who we spend our time with, who we talk to, who we connect with, who we network with, it makes a difference because they have an impact on you as equally you have an impact on them. So challenge yourself to soar with the eagles, right? Watch who you're around. Iron sharpens iron, right? What are you doing to challenge yourself, right? Are you just with a bunch of people that just, agrees with everything, or do you have anybody who may maybe challenge a perspective that you have? That helps too, right? Do you immerse yourselves in masterminds or trainings, or what do you do? How are you, you know, cultivating that part every year, every single year? Actually, for the past 5 years, I have joined, have paid for coaching mastermind, and have invested in myself 10K and more every year. Because I think it's important for me to cultivate that part of myself, to grow, to be challenged, to stretch myself, to expand myself. And you can't do that staying just doing the same thing. There has to be a desire for expansion. So monitor that. Surround yourself with success, and that again leads into adopt a growth mindset. Because again, if you have a growth mindset, then you don't fear things. You're like, bring it on, like whatever. What we doing? It's all good, right? And so a growth mindset constantly keeps you in a place of allowance, right? An allowance, like whatever comes, and of great expectation. Um, Having a growth mindset also means that you don't, you're not content with being, now comfortable is good. Like who loves a good pair of comfortable slippers, right? You need some comfort there, right? But oftentimes we don't grow in comfort. Now, not to say you have to just be uncomfortable all the time, but there is often character, strength, things that gets built and transformed during that process. Diamonds, what do they say? Pressure. Diamonds gets built under pressure or something, right? So just know that being uncomfortable is actually it's just a part of life, right? It's just a part of life. We have comfortable and uncomfortable. But knowing, because we have contrast, right? Contrast is important. Contrast is very important. How can you experience or not know what one feels without understanding and experience the other part, right? Like temperature. Temperature is just a continuum of the same thing, hot, cold, right? So be okay with it. To know it's just a continuum. The things are fluidly in a continuum and they go this way, right? The next is like finding value. Again, value in discomfort. I just kind of just talked about that, but finding the value that, well, for my coaching, not my coaching, for my mental health practice, often my clients are those that have faced some levels of childhood trauma, right? And even as myself, right, with my own childhood trauma, that I know that there is something valuable there, that they have all come to an awareness that there is transformation in their trauma. Like there is something that they have pulled that has developed them as a person, even the trauma that they have experienced. So know that difficult things can bring great, beautiful outcomes. So don't be afraid of the difficult part, right? Um, and then another thing about the goals, excuse me, the fear, combating fear is just like really visualization. And I know sometimes visualization can work against you because you might be visualizing that something terrible is going to happen. But this is where you get to again visualize that something's good going to happen. Speak it into existence. This is like the law of attraction. What is it that you desire? Create the movie in your head. Create the scenario in your head. Possible outcomes. Spend some time with it. Daydream with it. And then create the action steps that align you to get there. You've done things before. You've done things before. You've done things before, right? And again, I've been kind of talking about this all along, but the acceptance that failure, setbacks, mistakes, they're all relative and they're all necessary and they're valuable. So if you could shift your mindset about what it means, it doesn't mean that you're inadequate. It doesn't mean you're not smart enough. You don't have enough, some place of unworthiness or any of that. That's a faulty mindset. That's a faulty belief. Okay. But fear, maybe there's something that happened that you're triggered by it, right? And it's like, oh no, that's too painful. I don't want to experience that again, right? And sometimes it takes, the support of someone. Maybe you do need to work with a therapist to kind of work through some things. Or maybe it's not that. Maybe it's something else. And if it's something else and you just like need some help in getting that you want to do it, and maybe it's not the fear, but it's the clarity. You're just not sure what it is. And so that may be having some fear because you're not clear, then that's where I can come in and help with. I can help you get some clarity so it can align with really what your passion is. What are your gifts and talents? If money wasn't an object and time wasn't an object and all those things that we put in our head as a barrier, blah, 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 what would you be doing? And then I know oftentimes it's like, okay, I kind of know what I want to do, but I don't have a plan. That's also, as the strategist, as the lifestyle strategist, I help you with creating the plan where you will map it out. What are the action steps? The daily action steps you can take, the weekly action steps you can take, the monthly action steps you can take, the quarterly action steps you can take, the annual action steps you can take, all of these. All without burnout. Because remember, when my clients come to me, they already burned out. So this is going to remove the burnout. This is going to remove the burnout because you will be more in alignment. It feels easy. I promise you, when you get in alignment with things that are for you, it feels so easy. It feels like, should I be getting paid for this? I mean, like, or I didn't know working out and all this felt so good. I just loved it. When you get in alignment, it just flows. Ease and flow, ladies. This is what I'm about. Ease and flow. This is the new. I used to be like boss lady. No, you still be bosses, but it's ease and flow. Soft life. Doing the things, but pouring back into your cup, right? Taking care of yourself, wellness, mental health, wellness, emotional health, wellness, physical health, wellness, spiritual health, wellness, financial health, wellness, relationship health, wellness, all of this. Your wellness is paramount. It's number one. So I've been going on. I didn't went over. I said I wasn't going to go over 30 minutes a day. So we're at the end. I hope these 10 recommendations on how you get over fear, how you combat, how you just deal with it a little bit more. Because again, I want to normalize it. We as humans, we got it. We're going to have it. But it does not have to take over your life. It does not have to stop you from living your full potential. It does not have to stop you from you look back and be like, I should have tried that. I wish I would have did that. No, we're not doing no coulda, shoulda, woulda. If you need some support, and if you think, so I want to tell you about a little bit about the Empower Mastermind. Empower Mastermind, it is a 12-week program. We work one-on-one with each other. One-on-one, we go over the things that you have identified as your goals, right? We get clarity on how they are aligning with your action steps. We give you a plan. You do check-ins, weekly check-ins. You have the availability to have contact with me and access to me, VIP, as things come up throughout the week. And you are also involved and a part of a Facebook community with other women doing the same thing. Limitless possibilities, right? This is what our lives is about, limitless. We are only putting limits. We are not putting limits on our lives. We're not living limited lives anymore. Limit thinking anymore. We're done with that, right? You'll work one-on-one with me again. And you will have that clarity. And most of all, you'll be energized because you'll have created the lifestyle, right? Because this is what we want. We want a lifestyle that is full of time for ourselves, where we are feeling like we're cultivating our relationships and doing things for our own body, feeling good, and our bank account is growing, all of those things, right? We want them all. And putting time, concerted time into just focusing on yourself has massive results. When you take the time to just focus, intentional focus with accountability. So if this program sounds like this can help you, then I invite you to DM me, and then I'll send you a couple of more questions interview questions to just see if this could be a good match. And again, I can pretty much tell just from dialogue where you are with this, because this program is not for people, like I said, people say, I ain't got enough time. Coming from the place of lack. This is not who this is for. I work with people who value coaching, already have a kind of an understanding of what coaching can do. Okay. Again, it's 12 weeks. And the invitation is only for a small investment of $5,000. Now, when you think about $5,000, we spend money on all types of stuff. I can tell you how much money, right? We spend money on what's important to us. So think about what is important to you. Is your legacy important to you? Is your health important to you? Is your overall wellness important to you? You get to choose. Now, next week, I will be back. And we will be talking. Where's my calendar? I don't have it. But you'll get notice. You'll get notice. Be looking at post. I'll let you know what the next topic is for next week. And also, if you have a topic that you are interested in, you want to hear from, drop in the comments. If you're watching this on a replay, put #replay. Share with a friend. You can also always Follow me on social media platforms, Renee Cage, LCSW on Instagram, Facebook. If you're not part of the Facebook community, please hit the link. I know there's a link somewhere where you can hit that and join and answer a couple of questions and get up into that community where we also have fun up in there. And it's been fun, y'all. I'm feeling really excited about coming back every Wednesday. Like I said, I've been gone for a long time. I had to do my own recalibrating, but I am here and charged and really excited about spending this time with you and connecting with you. And so be good, be well. I'll see you next week. Bye.